Hey everybody. Hey, thanks for joining. Can you do me a favor? Let me know if you can hear me. I have a mic right here. Let me know as you join me. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me with this mic? Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Yes. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Awesome. I'm gonna be. This is gonna be a quick scope. Basically, I'm talking about discouragement, right? And how that because the funny thing is, I think yesterday I was doing a scope and someone had tweeted me asking not too long tonight, gotta study. I know. Hi everybody. Hi Destiny. Hi Aziz. Hey Donald. Hey Vita. Everybody who's on here, DonnieTheBomb.com. Thank you for coming on here. Do me a favor. I need two things from you today. I need some hearts. A lot of you guys obviously know who I am. I need some hearts. And I also need you guys to share this with your fans and your followers if they're feeling discouraged. A lot of you guys, you probably know people. Everybody goes through this. I don't care if you're Tony Robbins. You feel discouraged at some point in your life. Hey, Sharon. I'm speaking at Sharon's conference in October, so I'll stay tuned for that. I'm going to start promoting that on Periscope relatively soon, too. A lot of people, we run into discouragement, right? And the thing is this. After a while of being discouraged, you start becoming, so let me put it this way. So when you're discouraged, you fall into like a negative momentum. I talk about momentum a lot. But the other part of it is this. After a while of being in your negativity, you end up being in a mental prison. And then eventually you become your own jailer. So after you know that you can get out of this, yes, victim of self-created circumstances. Thank you so much. I agree with that. And that's what happens. So after a while, you become your own jailer. You become the person who continually puts yourself in a state of mental peril. You put yourself in a state of mental incarceration, and you can't get out of it. And then it becomes difficult for people to realize why they can't get the momentum they need to get their idea off the ground and get their life going, to get the career they want to get started, or to get that relationship going. If you notice, a lot of people resonate with things like that. So no, you're absolutely right, Destiny. It's not all self-created. A lot of it is not self-created. But after a point, I'm saying is that you after a while, when that person or that other thing that had started is gone, you become your own jailer. You take over the reins, and you continue to put yourself in that place. So before I start, let me just introduce myself to some of you guys. My name is ebongeka. I'm a CPA. I'm a life and biz strategist and / coach, and I'm also the Prince of Pricing. My primary existence in helping businesses is to help them set their prices so that they can maximize their profits. Yes, CPA is a certified public accountant here in the U.S. Destiny is very similar to a chartered accountant in the UK, and I'm also the author of the best-selling business book, Start Me Up: The No Business Plan. You can find this in Amazon. You can find this on Barnes and Nobles. However, you can also get that from me. Now, before I go back into my message, I want to say this to you guys. If you want to get a copy of my book signed by me, right, I'll sign it and I'll send it to you. What you have to do is you need to go to the site that is in the title of the scope. It's ebongeka.leadpages.co//free book. Just go take a look at after this is over, go take a look, and it's in there. The link is in there. Now, I want to be clear with something with you guys. I want to let you guys know something really clear. Initially, I was going to offer this as a free book to give to you, and like all you have to do is pay for shipping and handling. But I'm not doing that anymore. Yes, and Lo, amazingly, she bought it. There's a copy. There are copies all over Barnes and Nobles, all over the place. So she bought a copy. It was beautiful. She sent me a picture, put it on Facebook. I was really touched and moved. It reminded me of my struggle, and that's what got me thinking about discouragement. Because when I was writing that book, I was so discouraged. I've told you a story about that. But I want to share something with you quickly. So initially, I was going to give that book away, and then you pay for shipping and handling. But I got some feedback, from other people, and I also looked at myself and realizing that I'm the Prince of Pricing, and I'm going to do this in a future scope. But I'm never going to give discounts ever again. I'm not giving discounts to anything that I do. So just to be very clear, today is going to be the last day that you can get it at that price at $8.95, right? All inclusive. You buy the joint. I will sign it for you and I'll send it to you in the mail. Today will be the last day. After that, it's going to $15 on the site, and it's not going to be free book anymore. It's $15, and that's it. Exactly. If you discount it, you discount yourself. So that's what I'm letting people know. I'm never giving discounts ever again. There'll be some like fast action bonuses for things, but that's a little bit different than a discount. And I always teach that when I talk about pricing stuff with people I work with in workshops. All right, so back to what I'm saying. So I was hitting discouragement as well, and you said I can't remember who it was. Social. You said you went through some discouragement as well, and I wanted to remind you one thing. The first thing I said I think it was last night or a previous scope, is the first thing you need to do is you need to remind yourself why you started to begin with. What was the reason that you started? What gave you the impetus to start? Why did you begin to go on this journey? Social. That's a tongue twister. But look, ask yourself, why did I start to begin with? And you need to remind yourself, right? When you know what your bigger purpose is, failure is only part of the journey. If you know you're supposed to get from A to B, lead pages, not .com, .co, .co, /free book. That's correct, but just drop the M at the end. And go take a look in, when you're done, take a look at the title of the scope. I put the link in there. When you know where you're supposed to be going in life, and you know whatever your purpose is bigger, right? You will not worry about you won't stumble on a brick. You won't stumble over a curb because you know where you're supposed to be is further on down the road. Perfect example when dealing with humans, dealing with people. If you find somebody in your life who's trying to give you unnecessary, unsolicited feedback, you got to look at yourself and say, who is this person, right? Where are they coming from? What is their point of reference? And I ask a simple question to them. Every single time I ask a question, somebody gives me advice. A lot of times I ask a question, have you done this before? I don't need opinions. So I don't get upset. And this can happen with family. This can happen with friends. It can happen with things you see in the news, any of that stuff. I'm not telling you cut them off, right? Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. Exactly. That's perfect, Destiny. And yes, thank you, Tammy, right? And basically, it doesn't it's nothing to do with them. So when you have a family member telling you it's a bad idea, when you have a friend telling you it's a bad idea, when you got people you know in your life telling you it's a bad idea, you can't take advice from everybody. Everybody the way I look at it now, Tammy, is not advice, it's opinions. So I look at it this way. I learn more from failure than I do from success. And a perfect example in my case, and I write about this in my book, was when I started a clothing line. My clothing line, it was great. It started out, it was 7 years from a week ago. 7 years ago from a week ago. About a week ago, 7 years ago, I started. That's when I first launched it. It was a made-to-measure line. It was great. First 6 months, it was great. I had clients, everything else. And then the recession hit. But it wasn't the recession's fault that my business started to fail. It wasn't that. There were things that I was missing, right? And that led to, for me personally, discouragement. But what I realized was simple. People were giving me advice about things. Obviously, I was listening to different people who would tell me all these things, but none of them had put any money in the game. It's easy for people to give you advice when their money's not on the line. It's easy for you to do those things when they're not invested emotionally or even monetarily. So this is what I want to look at it. This is what I want to say to you, I guess, everybody who's listening. And at Foso Social, I want you to give me a little bit more details. When I finish the statement, I want you to give me more details, and I want to see how it can help by giving you some some advice or giving you some ideas of things you can do. But what I did was, yeah, exactly. I bet everyone told Sam Walton that charging people to shop at his store would be a bad idea. Exactly. That's Sam's Club, right? That's called Sam's Club. That's called Price Club. It's called Costco. Same thing. People give advice to people, but they don't have the reference experience a lot of the times to come from a place of experience to share that with you. So for me, Sam Walton is Walmart. He's the founder of Walmart, Destiny. He's the guy who founded Walmart, and then he has a separate company called Sam's Club, and then they basically, it's a club where you pay money to go shop there for discounts. It's very similar to, it competes with Costco. And so you don't have a Walmart, but I don't know if you're missing much. You have Tesco. I think I used to live in the UK, so I know there's Tesco. But all right, let me finish this point real quick. Just to be real with you guys, life enough is hard. Living your life is hard. It's difficult as it is. Then when you put all this other external stimulus into it, it makes it even more challenging. When you're trying to achieve your goals, it's even more challenging. And so when you're getting advice from people, loved ones, family members, whatever else, I'm not saying you got to cut them off. Some people will come with their own BS. They'll come with their misbehaving. They'll come with their drama. Part of what you're doing is to fight discouragement is you need to create personal boundaries in your life. So what I simply do is when people give me opinions and not advice, opinions. Advice is from my mentors. Advice is from people who've done stuff before and they're sharing stuff with me. That's where advice, right? Opinions are people who haven't done anything and they got an idea and they want to share it with you. They're telling you your idea won't work. They're telling you the site won't work. You know, I have people who give me opinions about writing this book. They were telling me that book was a bad idea. They're telling me the book wouldn't work. They told me no one would buy it. It's a bestseller. It's in Barnes and Nobles. I got a publishing deal. I had people give me advice who've never written books, who are telling me that it's not a good idea, right? And still, I ended up writing this and it ended up coming to fruition. You see what I'm saying? So I want to remind you, part of it is, I remember the first thing is I had my vision, my dream was further than where I currently was. You got to remember that. My vision and my dream was further than where I currently was. So with this right now, if you're feeling discouragement, it's not even a setback. It's a temporary obstacle that requires you to hurdle and to jump over. The first thing. The second thing is, when someone's giving you opinions, the first thing you need to ask yourself, and you don't need to be rude about it, to say, hey, in your mind, what has this person done? Have they done anything to warrant the advice or the information they're giving me? I'd rather listen to somebody who's failed at what I'm trying to do than to listen to somebody who hasn't done anything else and they're trying to give me what they think can work. People always tell you that. You say to somebody, I have something for an app, and they'll be like, oh, it's not going to work because this, and this. How do you know? Oh, this is my opinion. I don't need opinions right now, right? Majority of businesses that started, a lot of people gave advice, most likely opinions of how this wasn't going to work. I'm so happy this is helping you, man. I'm so happy. I'm holding the mic because if I put it on my thing, it's going to fall off. I don't want to fall off like that, so I got to hold it. You're asking all these questions, Kara. Kara, that's my friend from DC. She's here. Thank you so much, man. I mean, I'm appreciative. I'm just trying to remind. Everything I want to say, but something other that's clear to you too. When I give information or these scopes, these are things that I've experienced. These are things that I've gone through. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share with you how I've overcome different obstacles. So when I tell you, I keep talking about the book, but I have other instances and other experiences in my life where I was literally felt like quitting. And I told you the story before about that book. I was writing that book. I had a publisher, one of the biggest business book publishers in the U.S., were telling me, they're like, we want to do a book with you, Ebong. They told a literary agent. The literary agent reached out to me, signed me because they thought she'd have a deal. It was a very simple deal, a couple conversations. I would sign some paperwork, and she would get paid. I would get paid. That was supposed to happen, right? I agree with you, Aziz. We need to do a summit. Live event would be a great idea. And so after I talked to that big business book publisher, they changed their mind, right? And in the middle of me writing a proposal, they changed their mind. And I was literally at the point of my life where I was discouraged. My first time I was going to believe that we've seen each other. Yes, exactly. So social. Follow me. I'll follow you back when you do your scopes. And so what ended up happening is I'm going to give you the third point that really changed my life, and that actually got me to another level. Got me to another level when it came to dealing with when I was so discouraged. I was really at the point where I wanted to quit. One thing I want to share with you guys. Some of you guys have already heard the story, but the guy who wrote the foreword for my book, his name is Matt Paxton. He is the star of the TV show Hoarders on. It used to be on A&E. Now it's on Lifetime here in the U.S. It's a show. Show basically is called Hoarders. And Matt Paxton. That's one of my very close friends. Also, a guy I consider a mentor. He also says I'm his mentor, so I'm humbled by that. But the thing was this. Need a book agent? I'll answer that question in a second, Kara. So what happened was with this book, I was gonna quit. I called him on the phone because he'd written a book himself, and I said, "Hey, look, I had a publishing deal. It fell through. This sucks. I mean, what am I gonna do? This is crazy." He said to me, "Look, I had a very similar experience with the show and some other projects I was working on." And he said, "When I was at the end of my rope, where I thought enough was enough, I was gonna quit. Something came out, something worked out. So you need to stay faithful. You need to stay faithful to the vision, to the dream. Nobody told you it was going to be easy. Life was not supposed to be easy. Life is not fair. That's a story somebody tells you. That's a Disney movie. No, life is not fair. Stories aren't easy. Life's not easy. None of that is easy. Regardless of whatever you're told, if you think it's something supposed to be easy in life, it's not." And so he just reminded me of all that. And literally about a week after that conversation, my literary agent called me and said, "We have a book deal. And they're gonna pay me thousands of dollars to write that book, take care of it, do all the stuff, everything else. All I had to do is write the manuscript." And then the good news was I got the book deal. The other challenging news was I had to write that book in 3 months. I had to write that book in 3 months in the middle of the summer. while everybody's going partying, people are going out on vacations. In DC, everybody leaves DC in July and August. Everybody's leaving, right? Everybody's getting out of town. And while people are going out of town and traveling and going to different beach houses and stuff and inviting me to go with them, I stayed in my house here, literally on this desk that's right here where this Periscope is happening. And I wrote 65,000 words of that book. Why? Because I spent 3 years of my life, of a dream, of a vision, of having that book on the bookshelf, and then eventually it's showing up in Barnes and Nobles. And I told you guys before, I was in New York 2 weeks ago. I found it in Barnes and Nobles on the bookshelf. I called them ahead of time to do have a copy of this book. I'm coming to get it. I gave them my name. They thought I was crazy. Like, oh, you're the guy who wrote it. I was like, yes, I had to get it. I come down there. I bought a copy of the book. I still have the receipt, right? And it's receipts here. I still have the receipt. And for me, like, I literally started tearing up. I started crying. This is the copy of the receipt from Barnes and Nobles when I bought my own book. I started tearing up. I started crying because it was a culmination of working so hard to get to this place where this can come to fruition and I can share this message with you guys. You see what I'm saying? And I want to remind you that if you're discouraged, if there's something that you're trying to accomplish in your life, do not let this current setback be the reason why you quit or be the end of whatever your goal and your dream is. This is merely a setback. And so the three things that helped me, the three things that got me to this next level was very simple. My dream and my vision was so clear. But what I would do though, after I had that dream and vision, is I literally reminded myself when I wanted to quit. Why did I do this to begin with? Why did I start this crap? Why did I start this? The second thing was, it was very simple. I didn't listen to the advice that people were giving me. I didn't listen to the opinions, right? I created personal boundaries in my life. Personal boundaries, right? Very simple. A personal boundary could be something as simple as not going out when you know you need to work, or finding people in your life that you can build together. Aziz, one of those is for me. He's the same kind of dude. He's doing the same thing in a different area, motivating kids and helping them get their lives together and learn from what he's doing. He's a former college football player. He's also a former NFL National Football League player, playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's grinding out there. He's out there working really hard, becoming a spokesperson. And so all these things, you find people like that in your life, whether it's scopes, whether it's in your life, in your initial life and offering. When you find these kinds of people, you need to stick close to them, not because you get information from them, but more importantly, because they inspire you to continue going. The third thing is the positive people, exactly, for social. The third thing is you need to find mentors, people who are going to give you the second one is law of attraction. Totally. I completely believe in that. And the third one is you got to find mentors, people in your life who can give you advice. And I don't mean, the thing is, I always tell people when I give speeches about this is that they did not necessarily just give me advice. They reminded me why I couldn't quit. They reminded me why I shouldn't quit. They reminded me why I started to begin with. And they also told me their story, so it became a lot easier. So when I'm sharing this with you, I'm sharing my story. This is not something I made up, something I read in a book that I'm just repeating to you. I'm giving you the blueprint, right? This is the blueprint. So if you're trying to get over discouragement, if you're discouraged, if you feel like you can't get a lot, exactly, Social Social. There's a lot of support on Periscope, man. There's Christian Cotta, a lot of these guys, Justice Bone, he's a cool dude. You got to understand that you cannot allow yourself to become your own jailer in your mental prison, right? Because if you don't, for me, I spend my time working, I meditate, I'm listening to motivational stuff, I'm reading books on a regular basis. I need whatever I pour into my mind is a bank. Whatever I pour into it is what I can take out, right? If you put in nonsense and gossip and TMZ and all that stuff all day long, that's all you listen to and all you spend your time trying to absorb, that's all that will be, that's all that will be in your brain. I have the ability to have conversations with almost anybody on this planet about almost anything. Why? Because I take the time to pour knowledge into me. I feel I have a childlike curiosity. I literally have a childlike curiosity. I want to learn so much. I want to learn so much about things that are out there. If something I don't know, I need to find out about it. Even if it's on a small level, even if it's a couple sentences, right? And so for you guys, I want to encourage you. I want to implore you to do the same thing. Right? To focus on things like that. If you feel that you're in a place where you want to quit, you want to give up, you need to revisit. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, man, DeLeon. That means so much to me, man. It's like, if you have a vision in your life that you want to change, right? And you want to change something, you want to continue on something, you got a goal in your life. You really got to get this, what I'm about to say to you. Majority of people, right, in life will live average, mediocre lives. Majority of people, their lives. And it's not a bad thing. That's just what they choose to do. You see, your brain, from a brain chemistry perspective, again, I'm not a scientist, but I spent a lot of time learning this about the neuroscience, neurolinguistic programming, and the psychology of the mind and behavior, because it matters. If you don't get your mindset right, when I work with clients, if their mindset's not right, it doesn't matter what I tell them. Aziz can probably attest to this as a former athlete. If his mindset wasn't right, he probably had people in his locker room who didn't get it, right? Who didn't realize the opportunity they had, and so they were lazy. They didn't work, right? There are people who actually understood that, what they had, and so as a result of that, they focus on it, and they're trying to absorb all the knowledge. So if your mindset's not in a place where it needs to be, you're limiting yourself. You literally become your own jailer, right? They've given you the keys. You can unlock the door, and you decide to lock the door and throw the keys down the hall, and you lock yourself in there, and you're not doing it on purpose. So from a psychological perspective, our brains want us to be safe. So every time you feel something new coming on or new opportunity, you automatically go to a place of fear. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming you. Anybody else who watches on the replay, I'm not blaming you. It's not your fault. That's what our brains do. Why? Because of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Our goal, your brain doesn't care about your dreams. Your brain doesn't care about your talents. Your brain doesn't care about your heart. Your brain doesn't care about your visions. All your brain cares about is that you get food, you got comfort, that you're chilling, that you're safe. You have sex so you can procreate and pop out babies and genes. After that, it's a wrap. Why do you think years ago so many people were dying in their 20s? Because it didn't really matter. And we're still at a place right now where we have billions of people on this planet, right? So your brain just wants you to live. All your brain wants you to do is live. So every single time you have something that's new in your life, that's hard, that's difficult, you feel uneasy. There's an uneasiness in your spirit. The reason that is your brain is telling you this is not what we signed up for. Your brain is telling you your dreams don't mean shit to me. You need to chill. Your brain don't mean anything. Get that simple job. Get that simple thing. Get that simple client. Cut your rates so that you can charge less. So you can get the client. You can be safe. That's what your brain is trying to do. You understand what I'm saying? So every single day you have a mental struggle, a battle in your heart to fight your brain. Your brain's on your team, but the goal is to get it on your team. And it's not easy. For years, I was that guy. For years, I was chilling. For years, I was just doing stuff. For years, I was just inner critic. Your brain becomes an inner critic. Why? Where are the voices coming from? The voices ain't coming from the outside half the time. They start in the inside. And then on the outside, they come in and they join in. And because there's misery loves company, it becomes huge. You understand what I'm saying? So every single day, everything that I tell you is my system for tricking my brain, is my system for fighting my brain, is my system for telling my brain to shut up and let me do what I'm supposed to do on this planet. That's plain and simple. Everything. It could be something as simple as sitting here listening to the scope, right? The scope at some point could be like, there are people who are on Periscope, who've been on Periscope for 2 to 3 months, have yet to do a Periscope. Why? Because they don't feel like they should be doing what they don't feel like they should be on camera. They're not comfortable with it. It's uncomfortable. But they don't realize whoever they're running with on this planet, whoever they're running with on this earth, and whoever they're doing work with, they may be coaches, they may be motivational people, they may be whoever they're doing. They haven't done a scope yet. But the people who consider them a competition have done 10, 20, 30, 50 scopes, have gotten clients, have built their following, have built their business. And the people are still here watching other people on scope. It is very simple. If you got a phone with a camera, you can do a scope. So if you feel like, if there's something you got to do, in this case, YouTube, Foso Social, if you feel something that you're trying to get out there, right? And you're trying to get out there, you're trying to get your gifts out there because you have a responsibility. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care if it's you believe in God, Allah, nothing, trees, pagan, whatever thing you worship. You have a responsibility while you're still on this planet to share your gifts, right? Because at some point in time, you don't realize it. It's a wrap. Like, it's over. Like, you don't understand. This is not television, right? Where when you die, people around you and you slowly go in and out, you see the white light at the end of the tunnel. No one's ever come back and told me what dying is like. That never happens. So you don't know what's on the other side. But yet we waste today like we know what's happening down the road, but we don't. So, but the reality is we're all going to go. So if I know I'm going to go and all I know is this right now as my brain currently sits, I'm going ham with it. So you have to go hard as a mofo with it. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. So I'll add one last thing to that. And then I'm going to answer your question, Kara, about getting a book deal. And the last thing I would say is massive action also solves your problems of discouragement. So very simple. When I played professional basketball in Europe, massive action. When I ended up going to college, massive action. When I went to college, I can't find a book right now, but as a book I use to send, I send letters to people, right? Yeah, this is supposed to be a quick Periscope. I went a little harder than I was supposed to, but well, I sent letters. I sent hundreds of letters when I was going to college. I sent hundreds of letters and emails and tapes to people in Europe to get overseas. I emailed hundreds and hundreds of people to get somebody to notice me and to get a book deal, right? You see what I'm saying? And so massive action, when I felt discouraged, I kept working. When I got discouraged, I kept working. And a lot of you, I want you to revisit. Why am I doing this? What your goals are? What in this case, social, why did you start? In some cases, is you got kids you got to feed. In some cases, it's a friend. In some cases, you got to take care of something. In some cases, this is something that's inside your heart. In some cases, you got a loved one or a parent, or you have like a vision. You have people you need to help, right? You have a responsibility to help these people, even if you're charging them money, because again, it behooves you to charge them money so that they can take you seriously and use you. In order to change our brain, we need to reprogram our brain. I completely agree with that. I completely agree. I work with that. On my head, I work with how I can reprogram my thoughts. How can I reprogram negative thought loops? Because what happens is someone can say something quickly, right? One word. Someone says something negative to you. Well, that's what you said. No, I'm just saying in general. That wasn't what you said, but I'm just saying in general. I actually believe it. I actually believe that. You say something, someone says something negative to you, and automatically you start hearing voices. Voices keep talking to you, saying, maybe that person's right. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe you shouldn't do that. So what I do is, again, when somebody says something negative to me, literally I ask myself a question. Who are they? What have they done? Are they experts in what they're saying right now? Maybe they're coming from a place of pain, right? I know who I am. That's exactly what it is. What was their spirit? Why were they trying to say what they're saying? Someone says you're ugly. No one says that who's trying to help you. They're saying that because they're trying to hurt you. So once I realize that's the case, I realize that's exactly what they're trying to do. I automatically emotionally put them in a box. And that's how I deal with them. And it's not easy, but you need to slowly start working that muscle to deal with criticism. Sometimes I want to get criticism. I want people that's how I know that people know me. My goal is to get as many people to know me as possible, right? And it's not easy because we're told, again, social conditioning, we're encouraged not to put your hand up. Put your hand up to ask a question rather than ask a question. We're encouraged to, in a large room, not to speak. Speak when we're spoken to. That's what we're told to. We're told all these things, all these rules. And then when it comes to starting and running your business, it requires you to get in front of somebody and start talking to them. But you're asking for permission again. You're asking for acceptance. But in reality, you know that you have a gift that somebody's going to pay you money for. Because they want what you have to offer. They have that. As long as you know you are content and with others, your opinions actually don't matter. Exactly. I do not care. I posted something on Instagram. My Instagram handles are all the same. My name, ebongeka. You follow me at one man, you're going to make me cry. It's a truth, Destiny. It's the truth. I almost cried earlier talking about this book. It's the truth, right? And so what happens is I posted something on Instagram. About the greatest fear, right? The greatest fear and how you end up becoming your own prison. Your own mental prison is your greatest fear, right? And that's and after a while you start to believe what you're telling yourself. These stories, you start telling yourself a story and you start to believe this story. And then it stops you from so many people. Let me tell you a quick story. So, sorry, I'm going hard. I wasn't planning on going on this, but I might have told the story in a different scope, but 6-7 months ago, please don't be quick. 6-7 months ago, I was on a train coming from Baltimore, in Maryland, from Baltimore to Washington D.C. I just flew back. I was home visiting my family. So I get on this. There's this lady we're both waiting for the train. No one else is there. It's the middle of the day, and so you put yourself in a box. Yes, in a box. And so we started talking. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Blah blah blah. I wasn't in the mood to talk, but we started talking anyways. So we got on a train, and this lady was like telling me about her husband. She was here. She went to go visit her husband and some friends in Connecticut, and now she's trying to make her way down to Richmond, Virginia. And then we started talking about likes. I always ask people. People tell me what they do, and which is interesting. But a lot of times, the mistake we make is that we attach our worth to what we do rather than who we are. No, I'm sorry, Destiny. I'm already in love. I'm already in love with a beautiful woman. and she's actually on the scope, and her name is Lo. So I'm basically on a train, and we're talking, and I always ask people, you know, I want to know what you do, because at some point in time I kind of define sort of who you are, but I also want to know. there's Lo. After a while, right? I want to know what makes you tick, right? What would you do if money were no object? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? What makes you wake up in the morning and makes you skip to work and want to hop, skip, and a jump to work? She started telling me that she loves to do photography. She loves to photograph things and take pictures of stuff. Her name is Jen. Her name is Jennifer. She was a nurse. And so we're talking. I say, well, do you have any? I pull out my phone. I go, do you have anything on Facebook? Let me take a look at this. It's like, no, I haven't. I've been doing photography. I like to photograph birds and landscapes, and I've been photographing stuff for about a little over 10 years, but I haven't put anything on Facebook. I go, why? She's like, well, it's funny, but several years ago, I don't really trust. She's like, I'm kind of shy about it. I go, why? She's like, well, 15, 16 years ago, when I was in college, I had a professor in my graphic design class who told me that he didn't like my designs. And ever since then, I became self-conscious about it. And as she's telling me the story, I just told her, I said, you know what? I go, look at it. I go, there's a guy who you no longer think about or see, right, who gave you some ridiculous feedback that was subjective. And who knows, he may have been having a bad week. He may have been having a bad day. He may have been having a bad month, a bad year. Maybe his wife was having problems with his wife. Maybe his kids were acting up. Maybe he hated his life. Maybe he was a drunk. Maybe he just was a curmudgeon. Maybe he didn't like life as it sat. Whatever it was, he took his negative energy and transferred it to you. And you're carrying around this luggage for the last 16 years. 16 years you've carried this luggage. And as a result of that, you've denied the world, yourself, the people in your life, the people you love, the people who follow you. You've denied them the ability to see your gifts and your art. And I said it exactly like that, with passion, on the quiet car in the Amtrak. And people tell me to shut up. I didn't care. I said, do you see how now the way I said it, do you see how detrimental that is to your life? Keeping you from what you're supposed to be doing on this planet, sharing your vision, right? And you're holding it in. You're keeping your energy in. So if you keep all your energy in, there's no abundance. There's no way you can share with other people. You can't put forth, right, everything else. So when you restrain stuff, there's no way you can share your gifts and abundance to the world. So as a result of that, she's almost started crying. And I was like, I understand. I apologize if I'm trying to push you, but this is the thing. I'm pretty sure that what you're doing is probably great work. But because of somebody who's having a bad day, he derailed your ability. Who knows where your life would have been had you continued on this path 15, 16 years ago. You could have achieved mastery by now, right? You could be in a situation where you're in galleries right now. You could have basically a private gallery showing of all your stuff. You've been taking pictures for 15, 16 years. And chances are you don't even know where the rest of those photos are, because back then, the people weren't doing digital the same way they're doing now. And she started crying even harder. And I said, look, I want to challenge you. I said, Jen, I want to challenge you. When you go home, I want you to take whatever you have now and literally think about how you can have a small private party at your house and have your friends come over and take a look at some of your stuff. And who knows, you may be able to sell it. We never stayed in touch, so I don't know exactly if she went ahead and if she took my challenge on. But it's an example I want to share with you guys today. It's the exact same thing that so many people are struggling with every single day. She literally became her own jailer, right? Her professor literally was locked her in a prison, gave her the keys, and took off, and then she stayed in there. Right? She learned helplessness is basically the thing that I'm sharing. It's learned help. There's a study that was done by Dr. Martin Seligman, and it's learned helplessness. So I want to remind you real quickly, basically you got to remind yourself why you started. First thing, why did you start this vision and goal? Why are you on this path to begin with? The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Why? You have to have tunnel vision when it comes to you almost do. You got to be cognizant of other people in your life, right? If you have a loved one or family, but in the same token, you got to be so focused and so clear, right? She could have been super huge, but probably turned that around for you. Well, I hope so. I hope so for social. I just, my goal is just, again, I always tell people this, and it makes me emotional when I talk about it. But I want my life, I want my work, I want it to mean something. I want what I do on this earth to mean something. I feel what my purpose is the last 2 years is to do things like this and to share things with people like this, so that you can live a life of prosper. Even if my life is short, I want my life to be long, but I want to change as many lives as I possibly can, as long as I'm here, as long as I'm breathing, as long as I have my mental faculties, as long as everything that I'm doing is positive. I want to bring joy to people by reminding them who they are, and what they can accomplish and what they can do. So I appreciate that, Destiny Exotic. Thank you so much, Tammy. So I just want to thank you so much, DeLeon. I just want to remind you guys the same thing. So I'm all about that. I speak and I'm launching a coaching practice that I mentioned a couple scopes ago. And again, go to the title of this scope and take a look at that book. Oh yeah, Foso Social. Is there anything in particular that's kind of on your mind that you're thinking about? You want to share with me so that I can? Yes. The discount, because again, I'm not discounting shit anymore. I want to remind you guys that. No more discounts ever. So now I'm going to answer your question. Yeah, I'm surprised you're still here, Kara, because you're not really patient. I'm kidding. So Kara, there's two things. When it comes to getting a book deal, a lot of you guys are on this deal. If you're thinking about writing a book, you should consider it, right? Even if it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, mine was 65,000 words, which amounts to 225 pages. You don't have to write that much. Right. All you need to do is write about what you want to write about, and write about audio's cutting out. Oh no. Just you. All right. Thank you so much. But yes, you want to, Kara, you want to write about what you want to write about. Okay. And so what happened? Thank you for the hearts. Keep giving me hearts. I really appreciate it. This is resonating with you. Thank you guys for touching, for being here and giving me hearts. Your price of writing a book. Awesome. Yes. Buy my book, please. Go to the link in the notes, right? Go to the link in the notes, and you can get it there for $8.95 right now, because tonight, when I go back to change the website, it's going to $15. But if you get it you can get it from Barnes & Nobles or Amazon. But if you get it from me, I will sign it to you, your name. I'll be like, dear Tamara, dear whoever it is. I'll autograph it to you. I'll sign it to you, put a little note, and say it to you. They have it at Barnes & Nobles too. You pay $15 for $16 for it, but I'm not signing that one because I'm not there. So you purchase it from me, is in the title. Yes, the link in the title is partially cut off. Shoot. That's right. Thank you so much, Destiny. Okay, so a lot of people might feel I want to be. Yes, be you, Fo Social. I'll discourage about continuing to scope. Continue to scope. Thank you so much. This is the link. Can we purchase it at full price from you? Yes, just purchase it at the price right now. It's already in there. Sorry, purchase it at the price right now. You see it for the PayPal link. I'm going to change it tonight. I really appreciate that, and that's easy. So just do whatever the link is, and thank you so much, Destiny Exotic, for putting a link up there. It's ebongeka, my username together, leadpages.co/free book. You can go there to the link. You can find it. If you don't find it, just hit me up on Twitter. After this, I'm gonna put the link up on Twitter again. Go find me on Twitter. It's the same handle, so the person's the same. Everything's the same. So you go to Twitter, and I'll put it. Yes, thank you so much, Destiny Exotic. That's basically it. Go there and find it. So I want to share something with you guys real quickly about the book thing. Yeah, I can tweet it to you. I'll tweet it. Just come find me. I'm gonna put it on my Twitter. I'll put it on my Twitter after the scope. So with the book thing, Kara and everybody else, everybody should write a book at some point about something, whatever it is that they're passionate about, whatever they're doing. I don't care what you do. You can write. There's something that you have to offer that someone will pay money to read. The first thing. And second thing is, what it does is that book gives you some type of credibility. Kara Allen. The book gives you credibility. Don't skip. It's in here. No, the scope was new. I wrote the book like 2 years ago. Everything I say in my book, I talk about it in my scopes, but not that much. There's some motivational stuff in there. I saw your title, Kara. Nowadays, my second book, I may not do a traditional publisher. So I have an actual publisher. I have a literary agent who I send him my ideas, and she goes and sells my book project to big publishers. So I have a different situation. Now there's also another way where you can write your own book, have it published on Amazon, have it published through Create Space. Very simple. You can find other, like there's iBook or iUniverse, and they can help you do the copy, the cover for it. How do you get an agent? Yes. So basically, you got to write a query. You can go to somewhere like Publishers Weekly or Writer's Digest. That is hard. And this is the reason why it's hard. It's hard because everybody's trying to write a book, traditional publishers. And so what they want to know is the biggest thing you need to do is you need to build your following. So Justice Bowen did a scope on this today where he talked about how he's getting sponsors now for his Periscopes. Excuse me. And he was talking about how he gets sponsors for his Periscopes. And he said one of the biggest things he was able to do was he built his following. So when he built his following, yeah, you saw that post on social. When he built his following, that gave him the impetus, that gave him the ability for sponsors to come and also get him his own show on Parachute TV. So it's the same thing with getting a book deal. You got to build a following. Justice Bowen is one justice for all, I think. It's the number one, and then justice, and then letter, and then number 4, and then all. He's a periscoper, dope scoper. He's gonna be on. He's gonna be at the Periscope Summit in New York, and he's doing some good things. He's a good guy. I've connected with him. He's really cool. You cut again. Cut. I don't know what happened. So what I'm gonna do is I may do another scope cut out. It's about the numbers. Yeah, it's about the numbers. Post on social. It's about the numbers. So some of you guys can hear me, some of you can't. But this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take off now because these lights are killing me. I'm sweating like crazy. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you got majority of what I was talking about, right? Kara Allen, yeah, she's funny. Thank you, Destiny Exotic. Thank you everybody for being on the scope. Thank you everybody for being here and supporting me. I'm so blessed. You guys are here. I'm gonna tweet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna watch this again. Please do. Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys. Foso Social. I hope I've been able to help you. If not, you can follow me. Follow me on Twitter. Send me a tweet. Right? Send me a quick tweet and then say, hey, I need some more information on this and this and this, and I'll let you know whatever I can. Thank you so much, DeLeon. I hope this helped every single person. See, for me, in order for me to share, I think in order the best way to learn is to teach. Thank you so much, man. The best way to learn is to teach. I'm thanking God for this. I've been the first scope. You haven't been better. Yes, thank you so much, God. And thank you so much for the hearts, everybody. Thank you, Free Sean, Anthony in Vegas, pouring it up. Thank you so much, everybody who's on here. Thank you so much, Lo. I was inspired to talk about this because Lo, who's on the scope, with my lady, she went to Barnes & Noble's to see if my book was in the stores. And she saw the book and bought a copy of it. And she posted a picture of it, and literally warmed my heart. My heart started tearing up. My eyes started tearing up. I was like, it is reminding me of the struggle it takes to get to another level. So, thank you guys. I'm gonna do. If you're in the DMV, we should probably do a summit. Aziz and Kara and a bunch of other scopers in the area. We do like a quick little scope summit. But yes, love you too. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Free to shine. DMV. DeLeon's my man. Destiny Exotic. Yes, you're there. That's right. I do remember that. Everybody who's here. Kara. Phoenicia Hudson, who's Foso Social. Crystal Brown. Anthony in Vegas. Jeff. Monique, Destiny Exotic. I think I already said that. Everybody else who's here, I want to thank you. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm so blessed. Thank you for being here again. If you're discouraged, remind yourself. Live and thrive on. Tap your screens if you found value. Please so much. Give me some value. You tap your screens. Give me some hearts if you found value. Thank you so much, Anthony in Vegas. Give me some hearts if you found some value. Look, the goal is simple. If you're feeling discouraged, in your life, you have discouragement in your life. Hey, live and thrive on. If you're feeling discouraged in your life, remind yourself, why did I start this version to begin with? Why did I start doing this? The second thing is, am I getting advice from the wrong people? I need to get advice from people who are doing things, or people who failed, who tried it and didn't work out. I need to learn from them too, right? The third is my mentors. Who are my mentors? Who can take care of me? Who's going to help me with this? Who can give me advice, right? Remember your why. Your why, it has to be deeper than you. It has to be more than the money. It has to be more than feeling good and getting everything you need to get. What you need to do is your why has to remind you of that stuff. Our overachieving heart pimp. That's awesome. Thank you, man. And then last but not least, I added this last piece. You got to take massive action. You got to work really hard. You got to do more. Once you understand what you're doing, once you understand what you're fighting and striving for, then you gotta go crazy on it. You gotta go as much as possible. Nah, you're cool, Destiny Exotic. No worries at all. I'm always appreciative when people appreciate things that I share, and we're good. We're all cool. We're all cool. Life is good in the hood and in the streets. Oh man, thank you so much, Anthony in Vegas. You're my man, man. It has 2 devices producing hearts. That's awesome. All good ones are taken. But you know what? I love you guys, man. Just remember your why. Build your tribe. Take fast action. Exactly. Thank you so much. Live and thrive on. You guys are awesome. You guys have made my night. I'm so hyped right now. I want to get out and run in the streets. Like literally, but I might get arrested, so I'm not going to do that. I want to get out and run down the streets. It's dark right now. It's like 10:30 right now at night. So I run down the streets and scream and tell everybody I love them. I want to thank you guys for being on here. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to talk about why I'm never going to be offering a discount again. And it's really important because this is about for business, but also there's a mindset piece to that too. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Abong. Start me up, the No Business Plan, Business Plan. This book, basically, go to the link. Go to my Twitter. I'm going to tweet this. Yes, thank you so much, Destiny. I want my connections to be better. I'm going to tweet this link right after I hang up. Yes, this is the link. So you find Destiny right here. It's ebongeka.leadpages.co/free book. Hey, Zebra, my man. Thanks for the hearts. Thank you so much, Destiny Exotic. Thank you so much, Lo. Thank you so much for everybody else who was being on here. Go get the book because today is $8.95, and that's for shipping, and that includes shipping and handling. And I'm gonna sign it to you, so you're gonna get directly from me, and I'm gonna sign it. And if you wait till tomorrow, I'm changing the price to $15. It's still about $1 cheaper than in bookstores plus shipping, but $15 all inclusive, includes shipping, and I will sign it then too. So you can get it from me, you can get it from the bookstore, but you get my signature and it's addressed to you, and it's a bestseller. Thank you so much. ebongeka.leadpages.co/free ebook. Check it out. I love you guys. Thanks for the hearts.